Imagine coming home from a brutal 2-week camping trip, only to find your older brother wearing your bathrobe, drinking your coffee, and telling you your house is now his. Yeah, that nightmare actually happened to me. I'm 26 years old. For the past 4 years, I've been grinding 70-hour weeks as a junior mechanic. I didn't have much of a social life, but I had one incredible thing in my life. My Aunt Eleanor. She's a fiercely independent, no-nonsense woman who made a fortune in commercial real estate. For my 25th birthday, she did something unbelievable. She handed me the deed to a rundown 2-bedroom cabin on the edge of Lake George. She looked me straight in the eye and said, "I buy properties to make money. I expect you to build a home. Don't make me regret this." And I didn't. I poured every dollar I had and every ounce of my energy into that place. I rebuilt the rotting deck plank by plank, installed hardwood floors with my own hands, and lived off peanut butter sandwiches just to afford a brand new roof. It took a full year of exhausting work, but when it was done, it was perfect. It was mine. To celebrate, I went on a 2-week off-the-grid hiking trip in the Rockies. No phone, no internet, just me in the wilderness. When I came back and pulled into my driveway, my stomach dropped. A huge, ugly silver minivan was parked where my truck should be, and my beautiful front door, the one I restored myself, had a cheap digital lock slapped onto it. I banged on the door, heart racing, and who opened it? My older brother Derek. He's 31, chronically unemployed, and expecting his third kid with his equally entitled wife Sarah. He stood there, casually eating cereal, and said, "Oh, hey, Dad said you'd be mad, but family comes first, right?" I shoved past him furious. All my handmade furniture, gone, replaced with their stained, mismatched junk. I demanded answers. That's when my dad showed up. He's always favored Derek. Always. He put a hand on my shoulder and said calmly, "Derek needed a fresh start. You're single. You don't need all this space. Keeping it to yourself is selfish." I was yelling. I told him the deed was in my name. He just smirked. He admitted he used the spare key I gave him to get in. Then he told me he'd already filed paperwork with a shady lawyer, claiming Aunt Eleanor wasn't of sound mind when she gave me the house, and that it should belong to the family trust. I went to the police. They called it a civil matter. I tried to hire a lawyer, but I was completely broke. For 22 days, I slept on a deflating air mattress in the freezing storage room of my auto shop. I was exhausted, cold, and completely broken. Then, everything changed. My aunt came back. She had been on a month-long luxury cruise in Europe. When she returned, she stopped by my shop and found me curled up next to a tiny heater, looking like I hadn't slept in days. I told her everything. The temperature in the room felt like it dropped. She didn't yell, didn't cry. She pulled out her phone and called her lawyer. "Prepare the paperwork," she said coldly. "We have a pest problem." We drove straight to the Lakehouse. She didn't knock. She pulled a crowbar out of her purse. Yes, seriously. And smashed the lock off the door in one swing. Then she kicked the door open. Derek and Sarah jumped up, terrified. My dad walked in from the kitchen and froze when he saw her. "Eleanor?" He stammered. "We were just keeping it in the family. You have 1 hour to get out of my nephew's house. If you're still here after that, I'm having all of you arrested." Sarah started crying. "But we have kids. Where are we supposed to go?" Aunt Eleanor didn't even blink. "Not my problem." Then she pointed at my dad. "And if you ever question my mental competence again, I will destroy you in court, completely." It was honestly the most satisfying thing I've ever seen. Within 45 minutes, they threw everything into trash bags and sped off. That same day, my aunt hired a professional crew to fix the door and deep clean the entire house. She handed me a new set of keys, gave me a tight hug, and whispered, "Next time, don't give them a key." It's been 6 peaceful months since then. Derek and his family are back in my dad's basement, making everyone miserable. And me? I sit on my deck, sipping coffee, looking out over the lake. And for the first time in my life, I sleep like a baby.